Live.
Hey everybody. Thanks for joining us today. Keep your fingers crossed for me. I'm hoping that this is going to go right today. Apologies to those of you who logged on yesterday, dying to know what the KPIs should be in 2021, and we're sorely disappointed. But hopefully, technology will not fail us right now. So I'm Donna. I'm the UK head of sales for Vincere. Had a fantastic day yesterday watching other people's tech not fail. So thanks, Louise and Stephen, for hosting. Hope everybody enjoyed the day. I kind of got stitched up anyway. I got the session between lunchtime and home time and the words COVID and KPI in my presentation title. So I kind of had my work cut out. But the good news is that the presentation actually doesn't really have anything to do with COVID or even KPIs, really. It's designed to help you think about more effective ways to attract and retain talent going into the new year, and also to incentivize them and give them interesting goals. Goals. So for those of you that are into kind of sports and fitness, and I'm always in good company when I talk to the recruitment community about these things. It tends to be quite a lot of fitties in our sector. So you work better in the gym, right, when you're working towards a goal. It's a fact. So if I said to you, you've got to do 100 burpees a day for the next 200 days, at some point you're probably going to find a whole bunch of excuses not to do it. But if you get a really good trainer, they won't say that to you. They'll say, what's your goal? What are you working towards? And they'll keep it simple. So one thing. And then if the activity that you need to do to reach that goal happens to be 100 burpees a day, so be it. You'll get it done, because it's just simple and it gives you something to work towards. Little picture there. I had a thought yesterday about how I can bring personal experience into this, and thinking about goals that I've set myself. And I am quite a goal-driven person, but I decided to use a non-work example. On the day that I found out I was pregnant with my youngest son, I decided to set myself a goal to get a pull-up on my due date. And it was a very simple goal. It was one thing, and I worked every single day towards it. I was completely focused on it, and glad to say that somehow I managed to haul myself up there on that due date. So key pitfalls are these kind of vanity metrics. So these numbers, these huge numbers, 50 calls a day, whatever it is, they might be big numbers, but they're not actually linked to anything. They don't translate into pounds and pence. So you need to set goals that are motivational and fun. And one thing we've kind of had to do over the last 6 to 9 months, we've not really had a choice with us all being working remotely, is focus on outcomes. So results, things like good retention rates, increased profits, motivated teams, etc. So the interest of keeping it simple, we're going to stick to as fewer goals as possible, as I've said, and I'm going to talk about 5 key goals that you can set today to give you the best possible chance of success. So these are uniquely measured and presented to you by Vincere Intelligence, which is our native analytics suite, available to all Vincere customers out of the box. Okay, so first question for you. Do you know how profitable, or who your most profitable client is? And I'm not talking about the ones who spend the most, but I'm talking about the ones who don't suck the lifeblood out of you, basically, and take up all of your time. So by monitoring the effort that you're putting into these client relationships and cross-referencing that with their spend, we can give you in real time the ROI on each of those beautifully nurtured client relationships. You can't expect a huge recruitment business to be on top of account management without the technology to support them. So we start a running clock on the time that you have some sort of activity or engagement with your customer, and therefore I'm able to tell you a real-time counter of how long it is and since you've shown them some love. Really simple, but a really effective goal and metric. Remember when everybody had the same KPIs? I remember when I was a recruiter going down the pub on a Friday, as we all did, and the things that I had been doing with my week and the activities that I'd been doing just to hit my targets were very similar, if not identical, to the other people sat on the table from Hayes or other competitors. So these KPIs were not even company-wide, they were industry-wide, because somebody somewhere many moons ago had this idea that 50 calls a day equals 10 client meetings, and 10 client meetings equals 4 jobs, and 4 jobs equals 20 interviews, and 20 interviews equals 2 placements. 2 placements, you've hit your revenue target and you're good to go. So it sounds very simple, genius, in fact. But they were forgetting one key thing, and that's that everybody is an individual. Everybody's different. So the most successful businesses, both in and out of recruitment, recognise this fact. And in times of this change, treating your team as people rather than little walking, talking ATM machines, it's what's going to set you out. And actually, I think it's going to become the rule rather than the exception to the rule as we head into 2021. So steps for effective goal setting are to get your consultants living in your CRM. So you need a proper two-way integrated calendar and email. You need to keep your internal comms inside the system, not via email. And by doing that, you prevent them from backdooring your software and doing whatever they can to stay out of it, which means that you get really strong analytics, you understand their ratios, you can treat them as individuals, and you can all be set up for success. Another question for you, testing you today. How many open jobs are on your current system? And if I was to cherry pick 10, can you tell me when they're going to close and what's happening with them? So if there's any Vincere customers watching me now, you're probably shouting at the screen, I can. And that's because we give you the tools to run regular, what we call health checks, MOTs, whatever, on your jobs. So this is a previously nigh on impossible task to focus and target your teams on the momentum that they're putting behind each of these jobs. And we've all had that client, that job, that prospect who we just kind of latch onto, and we get like a dog with a bone and we won't let go, and they're absolutely riding us, and the fee might not even be that big, but for some reason we just can't let go. But by being able to see the data across your whole of your job database, you can see actually, this one isn't actually going to go anywhere, and then you can focus your efforts on opportunities that are actually worth it. Okay, so that's number 3. Number 4, and actually these are not in any particular order, because in my mind, certainly for a contract recruitment business, this could potentially be number 1. So this is a game changer. And I predict this will be the super goal or the super metric of 2021, certainly for contract businesses. And that's your redeployment rate. So this is the percentage of contractors that you turn around and place either again in the same client or in a new job. So how much cash do you spend putting a contractor out to work? You have to find them, you've got to market them if that's the way that you do it, you've got to get them compliant. All of this spend contributes to your CAC, contract acquisition cost. Okay, so once you place them, if your competitor is nurturing that relationship and having something amazing lined up for when they finish, this CAC is pretty dense. What you're aiming to do is to spread that as thinly as possible. So whilst delighting your contractor, they get a really lovely experience, and you're lining a fantastic opportunity up for them for when they finish. So in terms of the goal, I'm not sure if you can see the little chart, which is a screenshot of the dashboard in Vincere just there, but you're aiming to get that average redeployment rate up and the contractors that haven't been called in the last 28 days down. So 2 actually in 1, 2 for the price of 1 in terms of metrics and things that you can use to incentivize the team. Stats on redeployment, these are very recent stats, courtesy of Career Builder. We found that only 6% of agencies currently track their redeployment rate. So there's a clear route to revenue there and a real opportunity for the other 94% to get a piece of the pie. Average redeployment rates currently sit, for those that measure them, between 10 and 30%. I'd say 30 is at the lower end of decent, 10 there's probably some work to do, but at least you know, at least you've got a starting point, and that is the key thing. And 70% of contractors fail to be redeployed by the agency that placed them. So this isn't a way to kind of, dig at the team. It's not because you hired the wrong people. If you're unable to measure these things and you don't know how to come up with these metrics, you're probably using the wrong technology. And my number 5 is not necessarily a KPI for the team, it's more for you as a business. So how can you get your engagement with your software up through your consultants? So you've got to try and keep them in the system. And I know I've said it before, but only by doing that will your analytics be accurate and you can make key business decisions, which at the moment is so, so important. So by understanding how your teams are navigating their way through their CRM, you can spot any training issues or personal issues. There's a huge emphasis on mental health at the moment, with people not having their teams around them. Whereas before, we'd be able to see, if somebody in our team looks a bit down, are they struggling with a particular role they're working on? We can't see if they're coming back from the toilet with red eyes. There's a lot to be said for all being together. And if you don't have that, then you've got to at least try and replace some of that personal touch with technology. So by using the right software, you can spot these training issues or issues where somebody just needs a little bit more support. It will help you to manage a remote team. I've got a great team in the UK, and they pretty much take care of themselves. If anyone knows the Vincere team, they are amazing. But it's still difficult to kind of pull everybody together remotely, and the right software will help you to do that. And you can understand any resourcing needs. So you can see when people are super busy, when they've got a massive workload, risk of burnout, are you going to need to start recruiting soon? So really important decisions can be made by using things like our user engagement dashboard, which monitors how your teams are using your software. Okay. And an old boss used to say to me, I don't know if he's watching, but he probably said it to me on a daily basis: Donna, if it didn't happen in the CRM, it didn't happen. Okay, and that is so, so true. Although I can't understand why he would say that to me, because I absolutely love admin. So if you wouldn't mind taking 3 things away from today, and I'm hoping that I'm not talking to myself right now, because when I got to this point yesterday, I was. So let's see if this works this time. So what I'd like you to take away from today, 3 things. Look inward. Obviously we're salespeople. We need to create new business. We need to nurture new client relationships. But we have a very much of a customers over prospects focus at Vincere, and it works really well for us. So look inward, look at the renewals, redeployment, re-engaging those key clients, and incentivize that rather than being obsessed by new calls, cold calls, business development, new clients. Start with 5 or less, I'd say, in terms of goals. When I was a young recruiter, I probably had 25 different KPIs. Narrow that down to 5, and I think you've got a lot better chance of being successful. And then think about how you're reporting. So I think you'll agree that all of the goals that I've shown you today would be really, really, really hard to track if you didn't have a right dashboard to do so. So if you're reporting on Excel, think about how you can bring some of this to life by using dashboards instead. Just to kind of finish off, I'll just give you an overview of how that all kind of sits within Vincere. So our Director of Growth, Eloise, did a fantastic presentation on the Frankenstack yesterday. So you've probably, if you saw that, you'll have seen this this diagram before. So this is our anti-Frankenstack model. We keep it simple, out of the box. It's a platform on which you can run your business. So we start with our core CRM and ATS. We believe that if something is fundamental to the running of your business, we will build it inside the system. So everything you need out of a CRM and ATS sits within Vincere Core. No partners required. We have the kind of newest addition to the Vincere family is our Vincere Pay Bill system, which is a 2-way sync for timesheets, expenses, and leave, with the latest additions of a shift scheduler and door clock, which are proving extremely popular with our high volume temp clients. We can provide you with candidate, client and job portals through our Engage model. Our built-in comms means that, again, going back to living in the system, you never have to leave Vincere. You've got more than enough reason to tap somebody on the shoulder if you walk past them and they're not inside Vinny. And then finally, what we've really referred to today in terms of the dashboards, and something which we think is super, super important for your software provider to give to you out of the box, is Vincere Intelligence, which is our analytics suite. We do have a marketplace. We're very selective with who's in there. Some of them you saw yesterday. Shout out to Sourcebreaker, shout out to Cloud Call and the other guys. But we do collaborate when someone does something very niche very, very well. If you want to know more, you're interested in having a chat with one of us, drop us an email. Most people have got my LinkedIn details, or Eloise, or one of the UK team. You can always email us on the generic email at sales@vincere.io. We're also on Instas and of course on LinkedIn, or just visit the website. If you have any questions, let me know, guys. Thank you so much for listening, and I've got my fingers crossed that everyone has just caught the whole thing. Have a good day.
I'm actually going to come back on camera to let you know that I all broadcast perfectly. And I've got 2 questions for you, which have come in during the show. So one of them was one I was asked yesterday, which was what your main tech integrations are. I know you just mentioned a couple, but are you able to share some of those partners?
Yeah, so I mean, there's 30 of them, so I probably couldn't list every single one right now. There's quite a few. It depends what you're after. But yeah, I'd say that obviously Sourcebreaker, Cloud Call, Twilio is our SMS partner. We have an integration with Sign Requests for electronic signatures. Yeah, if you want to know about any others that are specific, just drop me a line and we can have a chat about it.
I think actually they might be on your site as well. I'll look for that while we're
yeah, there's a page on the website. There's a page on the website, Louise. Yeah,
let me find that. And then the other question was from DJ, who said, can I ask if you do temp staff shift work scheduling?
We do now. Yeah, we do now. So it's as I said on the slide, it's the most recent addition to the Vincere family. We've been working on it for, I believe, about 18 months now, so even before my time. And that's recently been released and is being tested by about 45 clients and going down extremely well. So we're now in education, we are in the healthcare sector, hospitality, when those guys get back to work. But interestingly, we've actually been inundated with inquiries from the hospitality sector because they've got the time to take a step back, implement new software, and be ready to hit the ground running when things get back to normal. So well done for those guys to taking the plunge and being brave.
Superb, great. So that question probably came in just before you covered that bit on your slides. So if anybody else has got any other questions, now's the time to pose them. Or as Donna said, you can access her via the Vincere website or her LinkedIn profile, which I'm going to make sure that I share in the chat now. I'm just going to do that. And then if you're watching on the replay and you've got a question, you can reach out via that. So there's the information on the marketplace. There's Donna's LinkedIn profile. Thank you so much for delivering this, Donna.
Thank you. No problem. Got there in the end, Louise.
Superb. All right, great. Thanks ever so much.
Have a good day, guys.
Cheers. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.